Hey, what's going on? This is Garrett with SYCOYL Outdoors, and today I wanted to talk about considerations of what you choose to keep in your vehicle, what you choose to keep on you, and the configurations that you have to think about when taking a go bag out of the truck if you need it. If you're somebody that carries an everyday carry or an EDC, meaning things like a gun, a knife, flashlight, keys, wallet, phone, of course, maybe even a tourniquet. You know, those things can be fine if this is all you have on you, you know. Light sweater, a rain jacket, some pants, good boots, you know, and you're good to go. But some of the things that a lot of folks forget to think about is how all of that goes together when you have to carry a bag, and specifically what kind of bag or what other kind of gear you're going to add to it. So today we're going to go over a little bit of that. Normally for me, I carry appendix style. Sometimes, just depending on what I'm doing, I might carry at the 4 or 5 o'clock. And wearing a regular backpack, you know, for a go bag isn't going to really mess any of that up. Now, I'll show you a few differences on that if you're going out into the field and you put a ruck on, but yet the only holster you brought was going to be an appendix style holster. So let's get into that. Now, if you have a bag that just looks like a regular backpack and you have everything you need in it or that you want in it, putting it on isn't really going to hinder you a heck of a lot when it comes to where your other gear is at. Now, we're not talking about anything but, hey, I got a water bottle in here, you know, I got some food, I got a few different things in here. Just looks like I'm taking a stroll. But the good thing is, if I had to, I can get to my gun. It's here, pull, I'm good to go. Put it back in, conceal, don't have to get in my bag for any reason. If I do have to, everything is still where I need it. My knife is a fixed blade knife, goes scout style in the back. Even with a 4 or 5 o'clock carry gun, you can easily get to it and present your firearm if you need to. Right? With this type of setup, not a big deal. Let's add one more thing to it though. All right, so let's say, again, we have our backpack. We have all of our EDC carry. I got my keys. I got my gun. I got my knife. I have my flashlight, candling device, and of course I have secondaries within my go bag back here. I have a lighter, my wallet, of course some cash. So all of that is good, but now chickens are wanting to talk too. So now let's consider that we're going through a walk in the woods and we need to take a little bit more gear with us, but we don't want to be this big eyesore when we're walking around. Maybe we have the capability of folding up a small SBR, something of that nature within our backpack. Maybe it's a truck gun that you put in this bag and you need another way besides on your belt to carry. Well, a lot of companies out there, I think it's Spiritus, Moonlight Industries, a couple other, I know T-Rex Arms as well, they do some micro fight chest rings that are easily concealable. And so again, that's what I have going on here. Everything I need in here: tourniquet, extra mags, an admin pouch, some tape, extra batteries, Leatherman, whatever else you want to fit in there, it's fine, but it's easily concealable and it still fits well with a regular backpack or a go bag. Okay, same thing, it could be done with a ruck, but you're going to see the difference in the ruck because the appendix style holster is going to go out. Now, unfortunately for me, my partner Scott in SYCOYL Outdoors has some rigs to where they're chest rigs that you can mount pistols and things to the front, and that would work great for a lot of different applications. For me and my gear, I have to be a little bit more finicky on how my gear fits and how I want to be able to put it on, just because when you see I put my Ruck on, I'm no longer going to have really good access to this appendix style holster. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so as you can tell, this is a little bit larger pack. This is a tactical assault gear jump Ruck. A lot more capacity to carry a bunch more stuff, but for my regular appendix carry, it impedes my access to it. I would have to undo this, reach up, get to my gun. That would just take too long for me. Now, the same rig closed up necessarily wouldn't give me great access to a sidearm as well, especially if I have a jacket on. So you can remedy that by mounting it if you have molly attachments to the side here, or better yet, we'll add one more thing that I also like to do in this configuration so that I can still carry a sidearm and don't have to worry about getting to an appendix gun. Let's check that out. All right, so here we are with a kind of a medium drop holster. It's a T-Rex holster with a Safariland UVL. I don't know all the specs specifically for the specific holster, but it's just a medium drop on a VTAC belt rig that has capability of holding some extra mags, and then of course in the back I have a med kit. Now, with that being said, where I used to carry a scout style fixed blade knife, I no longer have that capability there. So at least up here in the front, I have an admin pouch with a Leatherman in it. I have the capability. I could put a Ranger 78 in there, which means I would have not a fixed blade, but a blade, a saw, and multiple other tools to utilize within that kit. Now, obviously, I have a bunch of stuff in here, depending on what I'm going to do. The basic stuff, something to sleep in, on, and under, remediations for fire, water filtration, something to hold water in, obviously, something like a single-walled water bottle. It is probably about 34 degrees out here. In the nighttime, the temp is going to drop, so I probably would not pack my Grail just because I wouldn't want to take the chance that that filter would freeze. But just a single wall water bottle with a nesting cup, so you have multiple ways to collect and purify, boil, whatever you want to call it. It can all be held in here. But at least with this rig, so that I do have that waist strap here, I still have a way to carry a sidearm on me at all times. So I'm not trying to undo this, get to my appendix gun. I don't have it on a high waist, my regular belt. And like I said, for me, I don't have a chest rig to be able to mount a pistol here in the front. Those of you that do, that's a great option. I know Scott has 2 or 3 different ones that are open or enclosed. You can unzip them, get to your pistol, do whatever you got to do. They're great. I think Hill People Gear makes a great option for that as well. And then a lesser expensive option would be Helicon Techs make some different configurations for that type of chest rig as well. And I'm sure there are plenty others, just can't think of them right now. So in this configuration, you know, you got multiple mags, and you're probably being like, okay, well, why is he wearing a gun belt if he doesn't have a long gun? Stand by. All right, so long gun, if you have to carry it. Obviously, it can also be slung over all the gear that you got, over my T-Rex chest rig. You might have something different. This is a very old Amentum. I think it was an Amentum sling, 2-point from a company called Aries Armor back in the day. But everything I need is pretty much right here. Sidearm, long gun, extra mags. Obviously I don't have a mag in this right now. I took it out before I start the video, but everything that I would need is right here. Obviously you wouldn't want to be walking down the road like this if you were just had a flat tire and you had to walk back into town. You're probably going to end up with a couple of sheriff's officers and everybody else on you. But in the event, if this is the type of kit that you carry in your truck, these are the considerations that you need to think about when it comes time to put it on. Because if you don't have a gun belt, but you do have a some kind of micro fight rig, and this is the only backpack you have, and you only have an appendix holster, you can make it work, but it's just going to add 1 or 2 more steps to get to that sidearm if you need it. Now, speaking of kit considerations, and since we have the truck here, I'm going to tell you why I like to carry appendix. I have for a decade now, but I'm going to show you one of the reasons right now why I like appendix more. All right, so now that we've talked about different things to consider when thinking about the gear, not only that you have on yourself and in your vehicle, because your vehicle is an extension of what you have on you, but your pack is also. And if you have to take your pack and go on a walk, you want to make sure everything fits appropriately. You can get to all your gear the way that you expect it to. Now, that being said, I was talking about carrying appendix. If you're used to carrying appendix, and that's the way that you like I do, I've been doing it for 10 years, 10 or more years at this point, but I find it easier just to get to, even in the truck. And that's really what sold me on it. Because if I'm wearing my pistol or my sidearm at a 4 or 5 o'clock position on a high waist holster, then one, if I'm putting my seatbelt on, I'm pretty much blocked where I can get to for my pistol. And if I'm wearing a jacket that's covering it up, then I have to go in, pull this jacket back, lean forward, telegraph what I'm doing, and then come up. Now, with an appendix style holster, as soon as I put my seatbelt on, I can pull the bottom strap down below my belt line, pull my shirt up over the seatbelt, so if I need to get to it, I can. And there's a lot of things that can happen that if I'm fumbling to have to get to my sidearm, if I'm wearing it, you know, at 4, 5, or 6 o'clock, I have to telegraph a lot to do that. But if we're sitting here talking, you know, and I'm just, okay, well, there's a threat, my hand's up, you know, at this point, my gun's already out. It's just there. My hand's on my gun while I'm talking to you. I don't have to telegraph. I don't have to fumble for it. Now, there are things like those magnets that go up underneath your steering wheel here. I'm sure they're great. I haven't used them myself. I know some guys that do. I just have a really bad habit of jumping in the truck on work days, and I feel like my knee would head straight for that pistol if it was sitting there. So for me, it's just easier appendix style. If I have to pull here, I'm out. I can talk. Pistol is always there. If not, then I can just go ahead, put it back in, and go on with my day. Really doesn't matter. So things to consider. Now, we'll get into the extension theory, at least my extension theory, later on in other videos about how your pack, your go bag, your ruck, whatever you're going to carry is an extension of what your EDC is, and your vehicle is an extension of your ruck, and your home or your LPOP or your forward operating base, whatever you want to call it, is an extension of all the rest of it. So we'll get into that later. Leave questions, comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, share it, and we'll talk to you soon. This is Garrett with SYCOYL Outdoors. Later.